We're live. Awesome. Thanks, guys, for turning up. What a week it's been. Absolutely crazy. We're going to try and have more of a relaxed live stream this evening because there's so much to unpack. But what I wanted to try tonight was to get some more sort of engagement with you guys. And straight away, thanks for that, sir. Slave to no man. Greetings. Hit that like button. And absolutely right, sir. The like button really, really helps. So tonight then, yes, I believe, as even the poll seems to suggest as well, which incidentally, 89% of you guys currently at the moment, I don't know what it changes all the time. It's 89% of people watching this in the live chat thinks, yes, this summer there will be pockets of civil unrest all over the UK. Crazy stuff because we are looking at a perfect storm. Okay, so before we get into all of that, let me just give you an update of what's been going on. I checked the analytics with YouTube before I come on air just to see how it is going. I don't check it all the time, but every now and again it's a good idea to. So look at this. In 28 days from today, going backwards, almost 1 million views. That's insane. So this is growing. More people are coming on board. And yes, last night's live stream, which we talked about the migrant situation in the hotels and protests going on in Newquay, in Yorkshire, and all different parts of the country are having these protests. Okay, so we've exposed a lot of the anti-protesters or the counter-protesters. So if any of you guys have not seen that live stream last night, check it out because I do foresee big problems with these peaceful protests, okay, because we all know about Antifa and all of that. We're going to touch on that in a little bit in this live stream. So yeah, in last night's live stream there was over 4,000 chat messages. So you moderators who are controlling this, wow, fair play to you guys. And I've tried to slow the chat down for every 20 seconds, okay, because it just makes it easier for everyone. Before I figured out how to do this, it was mental. Okay, so hopefully it's going to be a little bit easier. And yes, we're almost at 95,000 subscribers, which is bloody crazy, and it's bonkers. It's just going crazy. So without you guys hitting that thumbs up and sharing the videos, which I know you guys are doing because people tell me, all of these links are popping up on Facebook, on WhatsApp, and all the rest of it, which is good because we need to get this information out there. There's not many of us here in the UK who are speaking out about what's going on and how best to advise the prepper community of what we should be looking to do to make sure that we're not affected by all of the BS. And there is a lot of BS out there. I'm sure you'd agree. Okay. So yes, we are looking at a perfect storm. 100%, and we're going to go through some of these bullet points in a sec, right? And so what we're going to do quickly is we're going to go back on to what we usually do, and we are going to say, where are you guys from? So all we do is we need to see where everyone is watching from because it's very important. It's a good data point because we're getting lots of people from all different parts of the world coming on board now, which is great. So we've got 1,000 people in the chat. That is fantastic in 4 minutes. Pretty much very, very sweet. So let me see at the moment. Deep in the bunker. Hi, dude, a moderator. Awesome. Who we got? We got Mary from Paris. And look at this. We got a guy from Denmark. Whoa, that's mental. Brilliant. So who else have we got in here? Wow. Here we go. Karen from Deal in Kent. I remember what happened in the 80s when I was in the Royal Marine Cadets. That was pretty crazy back there. So every time I see that word, I always think of that. Strange, isn't it? We got Scruffy from New Zealand. G'day, mate. That's awesome. Who else have we got? This is a new one. Look at that. We got Robert from Vienna in Austria. Love Austria. Used to go there a lot, especially Christmas, Salzburg, and into St. Wolfgang. Beautiful country. Awesome. We've got Leighton in North London. North London in the house. Awesome. And Oklahoma. There we go. Was that Netwood at home? Oklahoma. Awesome. Well, you guys are hitting me up from all over the place. And Oh, check it out. Ronnie, I love you, fella. Make sure you have a bit of a shant whilst watching this, okay, mate? It might dead the nerves a bit because there's a lot going on, bro. Absolutely a lot going on. And we've got an awesome moderator in the house. This is Chris, UK Prepper Man. By all means, go and check out his channel because he does prepping videos too. Lovely fella. I've met him quite a few times at the prepper meets, and he's a good guy, and he's getting by like the rest of us. So hi, Chris, a really good moderator too. Let me see who else we got here. Wow, here we go. We got Michael from Ohio. Now, I did do a video recently, a few days back, I think it was now, about that horrible, great big toxic environmental nightmare which is going on in Ohio. And I have had a few emails from people out there. And yeah, there's a lot going on which is not reported. So, Michael, welcome to the party, sir. Absolutely brilliant to see. Whoa. Here we go. Born Outside, hello fella, another awesome moderator, and this guy does YouTube videos as well. So feel free to check him out as well. These are all good recommendations. The problem I'm having is I'm not really finding time to actually watch much YouTube videos. So apologies if I'm not actively commenting on everyone who creates videos. This is too many to watch and not enough hours in a day. Well, this is awesome. So we're bringing it down a bit now because we've got people. And we have got DJ down in Bristol. Wow, awesome. Good to see. And, oh, I just missed it. Oh, this is going so fast. Right, we got Faye, awesome. She is an excellent moderator, one of the top 3 moderators on this channel. So thank you, Faye, for putting in all the effort to moderate the chat. It really, really helps. So yes, sir, awesome. And we've got Robert. Thank you very much for that donation, sir. And like some of you guys may or not know, but PayPal and Coffee is active underneath this video, so that really, really helps. So it's all looking good. We've got people from literally all over, which never ceases to amaze me. We got someone from Mousehole in Cornwall. Used to go to a lot as a kid. Awesome part of the world. Good to see you, sir. We got Kelly. Well, yeah, Kelly from Ohio. Awesome. So yeah, we got also what we got here. Toffer from Henson in Deutschland. Guten Abend. Brilliant. Exeter. Hi. Wicked. So that's pretty cool. So we got 1,350 in the chat. I think it's probably a good time to get started because we don't want to take up too much of your time. So let me see if I can come out of that now. Doink. Right. Okay, then. So perfect storm. And looking at the poll results as well. Yes, it does look like that we are going to be looking at big issues this year. I really do believe so. Thank you for that donation, sir. Awesome. Really appreciate it. So what we're going to do now, there's so much information. And like someone I saw earlier on in the chat, people are organizing. Yes, people are organizing. Now you can see that from different angles, okay? People are organizing their preps. People are organizing to bug out. People are organizing to think of certain things to do in protest and things like this. People are organizing, people are mobilizing, people are getting ready. And from what I've been hearing, I'm getting lots of information from literally all over the world about so many different things going on in different countries and lots going on here in the UK especially, which are just not being reported. Okay, it's bloody frightening. And I really do feel sorry for the guys and girls who are heavily into their mainstream media, you know, buying newspapers, watching the news at 10 or whatever it is, listen to the radio. Every half an hour you've got news. I think it's about time that we just unplug from that because a lot of it is BS. And if you look at the mainstream media, it literally is everyone, look at this. Everyone, look at that. And you're just constantly just living in a big bubble and being pulled all over the place. It's bonkers. So what we're going to do now is we are going to look at certain things which is going to be an issue for this year. So we're going to be talking about bank runs. Yes. So when banks go belly up, bailouts and bail-ins is always going to be a big issue, because still lots and lots of people have their money tied up in banks. Now, I've been saying for a long time now, and I believe it's good advice, especially from the people I meet in public. And yes, I do meet a lot of people in public when I'm out and about. People come over and say hi, and that's always awesome. And lots of people say, man, I've taken your advice and I'm starting to take out cash, right? Now, I can appreciate that every single person watching this right now is in a different financial position, okay? Everyone's merits is individual, okay? So there's no blanket, one size fits all. But generally, try and get as much cash out as you can, because if something does happen at the banks, there has been limits. Do you remember back in Greece when there had big problems over there, that they was only allowed to withdraw 50 euros a day from their cash machines? That was it. That absolutely could happen over here. And like I said, when I was on that National Geographic documentary back in 2012 or 13, whenever it was, absolutely the same. And what I said then still carries now. Just because it hasn't happened before doesn't mean to say, okay? Think about it. So look at all of the people at the Somerset levels who were flooded out. That's a prime example. You know, they probably went to bed thinking, oh, that wouldn't happen here. But guess what? Things do happen. And just because it hasn't happened to you, don't think you're out of the equation. Anything can happen at any time, all right? So I'm always advising people just look at their finances, okay? It's seriously good advice, in my opinion, okay? And no, I'm not a financial advisor. To me, it just makes sense, because let's face it, with this perfect storm brewing this year, especially in summertime, which we're going to touch on later, okay, in this live stream, it really is a volatile world that we're living in. And it seems to be getting more and more fragile every year as we transcend through this crazy time that we're all finding ourselves living in, right? So to me, I think you buy yourself more power by having physical cash on your person, at home, or hidden away wherever it is. I would rather do that than have everything in the bank and something happens, you go there one day and you can't take out your money, or it's very limited amount. And this has happened in other countries before, and we are not immune from having the same thing happen. So let me just have a look what you guys are saying in the chat. Yes. So here we go. Someone said, problem is money is not safe in your home. Well, let me tell you this, it's probably a lot safer in your home than it was in a bank at the current climate, based on all of the information coming out. There's so many people saying, like, they don't understand how the banks are still operating. That's how serious it is, okay? So I always feel better dealing with cash, because you're representing a free society if you choose to use cash. Now, I understand that, you know, it may or may not be possible to do it all the time, okay? I'll get it. Every now and again, I use my card as well, okay? I'm not perfect. No one is. But what I'm saying is the more, if you use cash more than you do your card, it's a better thing, because it's a private transaction. It's no one else's business. And let me tell you, when we go through this, when we look at cyber attacks and stuff, at some point, your bank details and stuff and information are going to be compromised, and then you could be losing a lot. And like I said, a good friend of mine lives in London. He invested in crypto years ago, and he literally woke up one morning and his digital wallet was gone. Okay, even cold storage gone. Now, he employed a company to track down and get his crypto back, and he had to pay them quite a large fee, and they didn't manage to get it back, so he lost everything. So like I've said in previous videos, and yes, some of you may love crypto, some of you, like myself, I am dead against it. I prefer having real physical stuff. I'm old school. I've got physical silver, physical useful items which I can use to barter or trade, etc. I just don't trust anything which is out of my control. pretty much. Okay, so if you are considering entering the crypto market, I would say that you will definitely need to get serious advice about online security. Okay, because if you haven't got that, you'll end up like a mate of mine who really did think he had good systems in place. It'll be gone. It's easy to do. Okay, so yes. So we're just going to go through. That's awesome. Right, you guys having fun? That's brilliant. So yes. So we looked at bank runs, and yes, absolutely, it could happen. Some of you guys who remember what happened with Northern Rock, yes, it actually happened. 2008 was quite bad. It wasn't as bad as back in the 20s with the stock market problems. There's lots of people, and I'm talking professionals, semi-professionals, analysts, experts, are all saying that they really do believe that this year we're going to have serious issues with banking. So I'm thinking I'd rather be safe than have physical cash on my person and in my home or squirreled away somewhere else, which is another good idea, rather than just wake up one morning, put the news on or something and find out, oh my days, something's happened. No one can get access to their funds. A true nightmare. So it's just adding to this perfect storm. Okay. So thinking about that then. Okay. So we looked at the stock market crash. Yes, this absolutely happened. And from what some people are finding out, that leading up to the event of the Wall Street crash back in 1929 in America, there are lots of similar trends happening right now in the stock market. It's volatile. I mean, that is putting it bluntly. Okay. This did happen, and we are looking like we are walking down exactly the same path. History repeats itself. Now, a lot of you guys would completely get what I'm saying. Some people probably won't. And like I said, I was banging to Public Enemy, that group back in the late 80s. And one of their tracks, they said, if you don't know your past, you don't know your future. Okay. So like I've bigged up, as it were, is becoming a really good friend of mine. Okay. Watch all of his videos when I get a chance, okay, because it is busy in my life. The guy's name is called Jason Breshears, and he's got a YouTube channel called Archaics, okay, Artificial Intelligence X. That is an awesome YouTube channel. If you haven't heard of Archaics, some of you guys would probably drop the name in the chat so you can copy and paste it, whack it into a search engine, and you will be amazed. This guy has spent 16, 20 years, something like that, in prison, and he spent most of that time reading really old books. Now think about it. Lots of stuff that you get online is easily edited. I mean, we all know what's been happening with Wikipedia, okay? So he's getting real solid sound information, which he's finding in his old books from the 1800s and before, okay? Lots of information about historical data, genuine events that really happened. And you try and find some of that information now, it's literally been whitewashed. You remember that film and indeed the book 1984 by George Orwell? Yes, it is absolutely going on. There's mass censorship, in case you missed it. Okay, it's happening daily, all of the time. So like I'm saying, I'm going to go through all of these things, and they all add up to a perfect storm, which I believe will lead to big civil issues this year here in the UK. Not only here in the UK, I reckon in America too. All right, we've all seen what happened in America with Antifa, Black Lives Matter, etc. All right, it's definitely coming this year, without a shadow of a doubt. Like I said, people are organizing. Okay, it's not fear porn. It really is. If you just go through some Twitter feeds and you can see the open chat, it's astonishing what's going on. And I can see to a point why governments want to sort of try and limit or censor online stuff. But at the end of the day, it is still freedom of speech, no matter what is being said. Okay. So let me see. I'm just going to the chat. Wow, look at that. We've got nearly 2,000 people in the chat room. You guys are awesome. Thank you very much for that. That's so cool. Oh, wow. Check this. So Gloria, Sharon, bless you, Sharon. And Jason, thank you very much for donating via PayPal. I'm not sure if it's Ko-fi, but it's come up on PayPal. So much respect and thank you very much. Oh my God, what have I just seen here? I can't believe that. Is that a crazy Chris the Pig? Are you serious? Whoa. I'm sorry, I'm a bit speechless at the moment. That is an awesome donation, and I can't tell you how much that is going to help me and my family out here. I'm a bit blown away. I do apologise. That's a bit of a kick in the nuts. Chris, mate, that's an absolute awesome thing. So we're going to go over to this here. Now, what do you see? You see queues at job centres. Okay, this is a visual representation of the point that I'm trying to make here. Okay, you may or may not see queues like this. Moreover, there will probably be lots of people indoors on their phones, on apps with the job centre, on a phone call with the job centre. Okay, I've been there way back when I had to rely on benefits, but now I'm completely off benefits, thank God, because the hoops that they want you to jump through to get that PIN money is ridiculous. It is a serious attack on freedoms. They want to know every single detail of everything. So yes, that's the price you pay when you dance with the devil, unfortunately. So job losses. So when I say to some people now and again, how would you define for you what SHTF actually means? Now, lots of people will probably jump to the idea like you see in the Hollywood movies. They wake up one day and there's no electricity or whatever it is. Okay, the aliens have come. All right. So think about it more realistically. Bring it back to your own personal experiences on your own level. Okay. So for me, like I said, lots of you guys probably know this already, but some of you new guys, because new guys are coming all the time, my job ended after 15 years when I was working in the rail industry here in the UK. And all I can say is thank God that I woke up when I did back in 2008 and started to prepare for times like this. Because let me tell you this, right? I was all of a sudden, I was out of work. Okay. I wasn't getting any money for 2 or 3 weeks to the end of the month. Then when that money come, that was it. So first thing I done was I applied for universal credit back then. Okay. Now that took ages for that to come through. So in the meantime, I'm fortunate enough to feel that yes, prepping is a good common sense idea, despite what the mainstream idiots are trying to brainwash you about prepping. Okay. I already had, I don't know, I can say 3 to 6 months worth of food already in the house. Okay. So when I went to go shopping every week to provide for my family with no money, I already had loads of food there. So my shopping bill went from say 80 to £100 a week because I was always getting preps. I always set aside about 20% of my shopping towards stuff which is long-term storage. Okay, so it would easily cost between 80 and £100 to support myself and my family for that week. Okay, so I was finding myself very, very skint. So I was spending £20 a week on fresh food. So you're looking at your bread, your milk, your cheese, your dairy, all of that sort of thing, and your meat, all right? Because I already had all of that food already. That's why I believe it's a good idea to have food in the house, always. Our ancestors used to do it a long time ago, and to me, it makes bloody perfect sense. I mean, I've been eating food now, which I bought in 2019 and 2020. It's still in date, and I know how much I paid for those items because I've still got the receipts. And for giggles, should we say, when I got all of my tin food, I used to write the date on the top when it is due to best before, and sometimes I'd write in there how much it cost. So I'm still using them tins right now, okay? And when I look at the prices that I wrote on them tins to what I see in supermarkets now, easily 100, maybe 200% price increases on certain foods. So it does make sense to prepare and at least have food for you and your family, because if you can't eat, it's not going to go well. And like I said, some of you guys might remember this, but I went for nearly 4 days without eating a single thing as an experiment. And let me tell you this, it's very hard work on day 3, okay? Just to know what it feels like, and it's very difficult. So yes, job losses, that will be an absolute SHTF, okay? You've got no savings, you've got no food in the house, you lost your job. I mean, like when I was speaking to I'm a Cockroach recently, you know, those guys years ago working at Woolworths, bank holiday weekend, they went in on a Tuesday to find out that they had no job, literally just like that, no notice. That absolutely happens, and probably some of you guys now have experienced, probably recently, losing their job, okay? It's a scary thing, it's a horrible thing. It mostly comes out of the blue, right? It did for me. It was literally boom, out, just like that. Crazy. So yes, that would be an SHTF for someone finding themselves out of work, no money. You've got to wait 6 weeks or so for any money at all from Universal Credit. What are you going to do in that 6-week period? That's why it pays to prepare. I'm just giving you real life examples from what I did, okay? So literally, people are losing their jobs. No BS, okay? It's absolutely happening. And to top all that, like I said, this is just a visual representation for the point I'm trying to make. I mean, this is from the ONS, which you can take with a pinch of salt, to be honest. Inflation, look at that, 10.1%. Now, I believe that to be probably between 20 and 30% right now. And if you look at inflation figures that the government and the Office of National Statistics are putting out there, it does not include fuel and it does not include food. So what has gone up a lot? Fuel has. Mate, just before 2020, right, it was less than £1 a litre of diesel. It was less. It was 90 odd pence a litre of diesel right at the end of 2019. Now, we did see it go up to £2 a litre, right? So that's over a 100% increase in fuel. Is that increase being put onto the inflationary figures? Absolutely not. Look how much the food is. Like I've been posting on videos. You know, not that long ago, a year or 2 years ago, you can buy a tin of something and it costs you 30, 40 pence. You go and buy it now, and sometimes it's over £1. So again, we're seeing massive, massive leaps in inflation in food and fuel in particularly, but not so much that. It's pretty much across the board. I'm sure you'd agree. I mean, looking at some of the chat here, it's quite obvious. It really, really is. So looking at this, Shadow Stat says the US inflation closer to 20%. I would say it's more, personally, from what I've been looking into. Now, a good friend of mine lives over the Isle of Man. His name is Neil McCoy Ward. A lot of you guys know. He's been saying pretty much the same thing. Inflation's hovering between 20 and 30%. And that can change at any moment, at any time. Okay, so be under no illusion. You know, the mainstream media and the powers that be and the government bodies and all the rest of it are trying to brainwash the masses here in the UK and in America too. It's worse in America, I hasten to add. The brainwashing is insane out there. But they're trying to give you the impression that everything's okay and it's not too bad. Where so many people are losing their jobs. Everything's getting so expensive, right? Crazy. Incredible. It really, really is. So that also has a knock-on effect with the price it's costing for your energy as well. So also, incidentally, before I forget, Steve, thank you very much. Yeah, that's a personal opinion, mate. Absolutely, and you're entitled to it. But regardless of what someone's done in their past, I think everyone deserves a second chance. And from the information that is brought into the community, absolutely, okay. But absolutely, you know, you're free to air your views there, like we just put up on the screen. There's absolutely no problem. But Archaics, I love the guy because you are learning a lot about alternative history, so real history from what I've been digging up. Anyway, I digress. Inflation is a real thing, right? And a lot of people are struggling out there. So we're bringing it right down to the bottom of the chat. Let's have a look. Whoa, we got 2,193 people in the chat. Also, if you can hit that thumbs up, it really helps. So with that being said, what else have we got here? Now this is going to take part in the perfect storm as well. Okay. Yes, the central bank digital currency. There are already models which have been activated and due to be activated regarding this rollout as soon as this year. Okay. Now, lots are changing. Lots of things are changing. Shall we say March, April, and May? They're the 3 months where lots of things are going to change regarding multiple things. So when you take that into account, that is literally just on the foot of summer. And that is when I predict we are going to see big problems socially, economically. People are losing their rags now. Okay. You wait till, off the top of my head, more immigrants time. Okay. And let me tell you this. I mean, my partner, we spoke about this in the report that I'd done on the live stream last night about our women and girls being harassed and followed by some, not all, obviously, of these migrants which are over here in our hotels, in our homes, in ex-MOD sites, etc., etc., etc. What's going to happen in summertime? What usually happens in the UK in summertime? Girls, women tend to wear less. Okay, so the weather gets warmer, they wear less clothes, they go out for night time, alcohol is involved, drugs probably too. There's going to be big issues with the migrants which are so it's obvious that the powers that be and whatever don't like what I'm talking about here, but it needs to be said. Okay, now this happens on other channels which I watch now and again. Live streams just get frozen. Okay, so don't worry, forget about it. It's happened. Let's move on. I don't want to dwell on it because we've got lots of information to share. Now, let me tell you this. Like I said, summertime, girls and women wear less clothes because it's warmer. Obviously, okay. There's going to be a lot more migrants than there is right now until, say, probably July time when it gets nice and warm. All right, not that long. And at exactly the same time, all these new laws and bills are literally coming into pass or coming into power in April, May, and March. Sorry, March, April, and May. They're the 3 months. So this is really leading up to a massive storm of BS and stuff dropping all over the place this summertime. Okay, I can't begin to imagine the amount of vigilante groups who are going to be born this year in 2023 to keep an eye on our streets with our girls and women out there with what is going on with these migrants. There is so many reports of real dodgy stuff going on. And like I said, okay, not all of the migrants are bad. Okay, some of them are, and we can't, it's impossible to tell. Thank you very much for that donation, Eric. That's seriously nice, mate. Very, very cool. Much appreciated. So yes, it is going to look very iffy. And like I say, I've already been getting emails since last night's live stream about what they are seeing. And I apologize to one guy who tried to phone me during the live stream. And first thing this morning, I just haven't got round to calling the guy back. But I think he's out in Norwich area. And there has been proper incidents happening with migrants and women over there. All right. So, like I said, if I can just change that now, if anyone has got any information regarding on anything that I'm talking about, please don't hesitate to send me an email. I've recently had the email account upgraded to proper end-to-end encryption, and it is way more secure than the previous one. Okay, so you send an email to that and it will be encrypted, it will be totally confidential. And lots of people email me who wish to remain anonymous, and I completely respect that. Some do and some don't. The majority want to be kept anonymous, and which is fine. I've got no problem with that at all. So we are dealing with very sensitive topics here. So it's absolutely a no-brainer that we can seal or maybe modify identities to go out on the public domain. I'm sure you can appreciate that, guys. So yes, the central bank digital currency, which we touched on before. Now, there are all sorts of different little experiments and trials which are going to be happening this year. I wish I found some time to get some more screen shares and stuff, which I'm going to show you, but there's about 6 which I've come across already, which are going to be trialed this year. I know our lovely PM Rishi Sunak, the WEF puppet, like we all know, he actually said publicly that the UK is going to be leading the world for central bank digital currency, and it will be rolled out in 2025. Already, like I said, there are 6 programs, projects, which are going to be starting this year. So what I might try and do is to find some time and do a video presentation exposing what's happening about that. Because if you don't know what central bank digital currency, it is literally the end of freedom as we know it. Okay, now they can't get that central bank digital currency in place until digital ID is done and dusted. Now, I've done videos in this previously. Please feel free, if you haven't seen them already, to go to my YouTube channel and go back within the last 10 days or so, and you will see those videos. You can't miss it. The thumbnails, I do it on purpose so people can see them easy and they can find them very quickly, because I know everyone's time is precious. Okay. I'm a fishmonger in 5 years and my trade will be gone. Wow, yeah, the Cod Wars. Who remembers the Cod Wars? Thanks for that donation, by the way. That's cool. Much appreciated. So yeah, central bank digital currency is a real thing, and it's more horrific than I think most people actually realize. Okay, so with that, like I said, it goes on to the digital ID. Now, I do know that Keir Starmer, who is a Fabian, which I exposed on a live stream recently, okay, Keir Starmer is fully 100% on board with the Fabians and will be doing his level best to ensure that everyone in the UK has a digital identity over the next 24 months. Okay, so if that doesn't scare you, I don't know what will, but that is a real thing. Okay, that is a genuine fear. It's not fear porn, that is a genuine thing. Okay, once you've got a digital ID, that is it. It is literally going to be linked to everything. Now we're going to go on to the next thing, cyber attacks. Now, when you look at central bank digital currency, digital ID, and cyber attacks, those 3 things literally fall onto the same plate together. They are all linked and they can't really work without one another. All 3 of those things need to be in place for it to work. So first thing, digital ID, 100%, absolutely. Central bank digital currency. Then once that's in place, cyber attacks. Because what's going to happen is all of your data, all of your identity on every single thing you do will be tracked and put onto a file. And there will be cyber attacks, whether it's going to be government based or funded, or it's going to be lone wolf hackers or groups of hackers. 100% guarantee it. You can see it coming. Everything. If you remember David Cameron when he talked about the global society, okay, back when he was in power. Now, globalization is a big mistake. Like most of you guys, I don't know, but my true beliefs are every country should be its own sovereign state, have its own currency, its own borders, its own rules, and that's it. Okay. What I used to like about Australia back in the day is their immigration policy was you're only allowed to live there if you had a profession which they required. Okay. So that's a good idea, because there might be certain professions that we could really do with out here. Okay, so yes, it's a real thing, absolutely a real thing. So cyber attacks, unfortunately, are definitely going to be happening. And like I say, when you factor into the equation that everyone's data is going to be online somewhere, there is going to be data breaches within that. All right. So when I looked at the bill which they're trying to get sorted ASAP, which I've done a video on the other day, the online safety bill. Now, not many people have watched that video because I don't think many people are aware of it. Online safety bill basically means, from what really scares me the most about that bill. Yes, it's a massive attack on freedom and privacy. 100,000%. Yes, it is. Because what government officials and bodies and think tanks and offset corporations and companies involved with government, what they want to do is to insert a scanning application within all end-to-end encryption, everything. And they are using the Trojan horse to make that possible with safety of children, about grooming and online pedo stuff and all that disgusting stuff. They're going to be using that. Okay, so in order to make everyone safe, we need to rat out these bad people, shall we say. Can't say too much on here because you never know if it gets demonetized or whatever. So I have to be careful what I say on here. But yeah, that is a big thing, because there literally won't be any privacy online from that moment onward if they get their way. And you won't be allowed to use it in the UK. So people wanting to use that will have to go outside the UK physically. Now, I spoke to a friend of mine about this. Will VPNs work? I don't really know. It's a very, very scary tightrope which that is going down. Okay, but again, it's all linked. Anything digital and smart, it's all a bad thing, in my opinion, of course. So yes, that is absolutely leading to this perfect storm. And what else have we got here? So yes, not so much that, the national grid. Now, most of you probably know that the national grid is all pretty much online and digitized now, which leaves it extremely vulnerable to cyber attacks. All right. So when you consider what used to happen back in the day, you wanted to invade a country or take it over or whatever it is, it would be done physically. So you can actually do this to another country without setting one foot there. You can literally attack another country online. So can you imagine what devastation it would cause if there was a massive hacking attempt on the UK's infrastructure regarding the national grid? They could literally just shut down all of the electricity grid with a really devious software program, which will just get into the system, destroy it, no electricity. Just think about how you would cope without any electricity. Okay, the mobile phones won't work. Okay, you won't be able to get any signals from cell towers. All right, there won't be nothing, no traffic lights, no cash points. You won't be able to go inside shops, electric doors, electric tills, etc. All right, it will be chaos. Now, like I say, when I do the prep and survival courses which I run, lots of the guys who come on there, I always recommend a docudrama to them, which was done in 2013 called Blackout, which was aired on Channel 4. It's roughly around an hour long. So if any of you guys have not seen Blackout, that docudrama, I strongly urge you to watch that. Okay. Thank you, Andrew G in the house. Wicked, much appreciated, sir. And yes, I've noted that as well. So what's this? Just to say, who do you think owns most VPNs? It isn't me, unfortunately. Yeah, well, do you know what? Between you and me, a friend of mine who really rose through the ranks in the cybersecurity industry within the police, he said nothing is really safe online. The only things, messaging apps, which are good, and this was like a few years ago now, is Telegram. But since then, Telegram has been compromised. I no longer use Telegram. If you don't already know, get off of it. Okay, migrate contacts, write stuff down, uninstall the app, just get rid of it. Don't use it anymore. The next one up, regards of level of security, is Signal. To my knowledge, Signal is still pretty good, and I use that now and again. That's not too bad at all. Moving up, there's another one called Wire, which I communicate with one person on the other side of the world on a not too regular basis, but it's really good because you get encryption keys and you pretty much know that that is good. And then another one is called Briar. Now, Briar is, in my friend's terms, top level SHIT. That is like really good. It's very complicated to use, but bearing in mind the applications which I'm mentioning now, these are what was recommended to me 3 years ago. So I don't know how other applications regarding end-to-end encryption, secure messaging apps have evolved since then. To my knowledge, from what I understand, Briar is really, really good. If there's any new ones which you guys can recommend, can you put it in the comments under the video, not in the chat, because I really am interested to look into other things. Okay, so yes, I do believe that there's going to be cyber attacks, and obviously them sneaking in that little bot or that spyware program into end-to-end encryption will literally scan all of your private messages. And no, it won't be about children stuff. They will be looking for thousands of keywords and slogans. Any of those are found during the scan of this private end-to-end encrypted message will literally go into folders regarding the user's IMEI number on their phone. Okay, yes, you've got VPNs, so the IP address is going to be different. But let me tell you this, the amount of technology that they can get into your phone and just go everywhere, and they'll find out who owns the phone and where your location is. Okay, so that is going to be a major issue with that coming down the road. So moving along then, we are going to what we've talked about, which everyone is talking about right now, is the migrant crisis. Now, I believe that this situation in the UK, and I believe it's happening in America too. Okay, I think a lot of the issues with America is migrants from Mexico, etc. Correct me if I'm wrong, there may be more countries involved in that immigration influx, which our friends across the pond are experiencing. Seriously crazy stuff. And let me just take it off now, because I just used that as a visual representation of the point I'm trying to make, like I'm doing with these quick slides. It really is rubbing people up the wrong way in a big way. Okay, now I don't know if everyone watched the live stream which I'd done last night. If you didn't, I strongly advise you do, because that was an over 7 to 10 hours, I think it was, of serious research going into that presentation that I'd done yesterday on the live stream regarding the migrant crisis and what's been going on and been reported about incidents with like girls being stalked by migrants. It's really bumping people up the wrong way. And I did mention on there are 2 or 3 dates which I mentioned when there are going to be protests in certain parts of the UK. So if you don't know about that, please watch that live stream and go for it, and you'll see that come up on the screen and me talking about it. And there is going to be counter protests too. So when I say civil unrest in the thumbnail, I'm not mincing my words, okay? Because what's going to happen, we all know what happened in Liverpool recently when there was that peaceful protest, and it was a peaceful protest to begin with. They always are, okay? Started off fine where the situation where the hotel was in Liverpool, Knowsley, I think it was. And all of a sudden, it has been reported that gangs, whatever it was, of people just turned up literally out of the blue wearing black balaclavas and black day sacks with sledgehammers and things, just went straight to the police vehicles and just literally just trashed them, set fire to them, etc. So them guys have no part whatsoever in the peaceful protest which was being organized to make locals' voices heard about their discord with the situation of the influx of migrants onto our shores here in the UK. So look upon that, what happened in Knowsley, as a precursor to what's going to come this year. Now, there is going to be one in Newquay, not tomorrow, but next Saturday, I believe. There is going to be one, where is it? I forget. In the UK, there's going to be one tomorrow. I forget where it is. I'm so sorry. I did mention it on the stream last night. but there's going to be another protest tomorrow. They're always going to be Saturdays by the look of it. So they're gradually, as we go through leading into summer, they're gradually going to get more and more dangerous. Okay. If you don't believe me, hang around and find out and watch what's being reported. Now, from the information which I've uncovered and I exposed yesterday, like I said, if you not watch it live stream, you really need to watch it. Okay. Find some spare time and watch it, because what I've uncovered was there is literally Antifa groups in the UK, Black Lives Matter groups in the UK, Extinction Rebellion groups in the UK, and that No Oil or whatever it is. All of those factions are going to be congregating and being called counter protests. Okay. Now, it's been publicly put out there on social media groups, mostly Facebook. Lots of you guys know I don't do Facebook, but from what I've covered, what I've dug up about what's going on with Facebook groups organizing these peaceful protests, they are being countered by the counter protesters, because the counter protesters, in some cases, are going to be at the scene where the protest is due to happen 1 hour before. Okay, so I've even put a comment on Yorkshire Rose's video today, just giving him a heads up if they haven't seen my live stream. And I do realize that one of the cameramen that works with her watches these videos, and he might even be in the live stream now. So I'll put a warning to Yorkshire Rose. If she doesn't see it, can please someone try and contact her if you know her personally, to say the protest that you are going to be involved in tomorrow, okay, tomorrow, be advised that there is going to be a big counter protest on site 1 hour before you guys due to meet there. So I would say counter that by going 1 hour before they are. So ensure whatever it is that you guys are there first. Because let me tell you this, from what I've seen and what I've been researching and what people have been telling me, these counter protester groups are going to have almost professional embedded videographers on the scene. Okay, they're going to be up in buildings with good vantage points, looking down at the scene where all of this chaos is predicted to happen, and they're going to cover all of the footage. And let me tell you this, the footage which they are going to use to their advantage are going to be only the retaliation from the peaceful protest, and the peaceful protest retaliation is going to be shared with the mainstream media, and they are going to be demonized as racist and far right, etc. And it's going to be all over the mainstream media, in all of the radio broadcast on the mainstream, all of the newspapers, all on the television. All you are going to see is photographs and video clips edited of just retaliation and possible violence from the peaceful protesters when provoked. Okay, at the end of the day, people are only human, and you can only poke someone so much before they literally lose the plot. And you don't know the past of that person. That person could be a veteran who fought in the forces, and you don't want to start poking veterans around. Okay, especially if you're like one of these 19-year-old Antifa snowflakes. It's going to end badly. But let me tell you this, they're going to capture that footage and use it to their advantage, and it's going to be all over the mainstream. And all that's going to happen is the sheep people, shall we say, I don't like using that term, but it's the easiest way to do it. The sheep people in the UK are going to read these newspapers and believe what they're saying, and they're going to believe that anyone who is against immigration into this country is a racist and far right and evil and blah, 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 blah. So that is absolutely going to continue as we progress towards summertime. And when summertime's here, when you add on what I said earlier with the migrants looking at girls who are wearing less clothes, there's going to be incidents. Okay, I can't tell you how many foreign migrants there are in this country right now. No one really knows for sure. It's impossible to calculate. It's even difficult to get a ballpark figure. Okay, but there's probably more than a lot of people realised. Okay, because they're not coming in just by little dinghies on the coast. There have been reports of them being flown into the UK, but not just in Folkestone. They're going to ports all around the UK. Some are coming from Ireland, some are going to Ireland, and vice versa. It's on a big scale. And it really is a Trojan horse, like me and my dad, when we've done that live stream about the hotel immigrant army, pretty much. It is serious, and it's going to build as we get to summer. And at that point, you will see civil unrest on the streets. Now, as far as advice goes, of just say for argument's sake, that you lived next door to one of these hotels, which there's going to be a protest. If I was in their shoes, if you're watching now, what I would do is I would seriously phone your insurance company and really fine tooth comb your policy. Everything on the front of the house, I would move to the back of the house. I would close the curtains. I would do something to put behind the windows, because the possibilities of, fire bombs and God knows what else, which could happen on these protests, which are going to get out of control, that I predict. You're going to do your best to safeguard not only your family, but all of your possessions and stuff as well. Okay. To me, that just makes common sense. And that's the sort of thing that a prepper would do. You would get some intel or information. You would look at it. You can see if it directly affects you, and you can make plans accordingly to safeguard your property, your loved ones, and indeed your belongings should something get out of control. And if nothing happens, then guess what? All you got to do is pull it back to where it was again. All right. Because if you'd done nothing about it and something did happen, a firebomb come through your front window, your kid was asleep on the sofa, because violent protests usually escalate when it gets dark. Okay. Summertime, in the daytime, it will start off peaceful. As it goes into darkness, more and more bad things and more violent things happen. It's just something to be aware of. And to me, it's just common sense. All right. So the migration thing, yes, it is a thing. Okay. So we're going to go down to the next slide. This as well, which we've mentioned. Crime is on the rise, like we spoke about before. Okay. There are more people leaving the police force in the UK than there are joining. That is fact. Okay. If any of you guys are friends with guys in the police, they will tell you. I mean, I know quite a few people who, some are still in the police. Lots of them have left within the last 6 months. Okay. It's bad news, because the less police on the streets, the more the criminals are going to think, well, I can get away with anything. And let me tell you this, just because there happens to be lots of CCTV cameras here in the UK, all you've got to do is just conceal your identity and go on foot. Don't use a vehicle with a number plate. All right. And trust me, lots of people are going to believe that they can get away with anything, and they probably will. If you look at the, thanks, Faye, you're a star. Yeah. Don't forget, guys, we've got some booze coming. So 9 o'clock, 2 minutes away. Get your shants ready. And if you don't have to drink alcohol. It's fine by me. Do whatever you want to do in the funky club. All right. So yes, pretty much that is literally coming down the road. So it's a no-brainer, really. The less police that there are available, the more crime is going up. What do you think is going to happen? It just seems like the perfect storm to me. Like I keep saying, this year is going to be bad. And some of you guys who live in urban environments, especially if you're real close to any of these hotels or detainment centres or high streets, for example, they are going to be hotspots with protests. Guarantee it. Okay. And if you live in central London, well, check your insurance, board the place up, and just go and stay with friends for the summertime. That would be my advice, because we all remember what happened in 2020 with all of those protests. And it's very, very strange, because I looked earlier, and do you know what? The censorship going on is very, very crazy nowadays. I remember back in the day during 2020, looking into what was going on with these protests and riots. It was all over the place. You look at it now, no. The only thing you're going to find is Black Lives Matter, and a few other things happened in 2020. Talk about censorship. Anyway, the time has come. So if you guys are new to this, we just take a break for about 1 minute just to have a drink. And tonight's choice is my friend Batibach from near Wales. It's beautiful stuff. I really do like this. So we got a genuine King George pint pot, which I love with all my heart. And we are going to have a drink. I hope you guys are well. And yes, I know it's all bad news and stuff, but we can always take a step back from it, all right, and just try and live at the same time, all right. Life is for living. All right, there we go. Yeah, I'm getting pretty good at this. Cheers, everybody. Isn't that delicious? Yes, sir. Here we go. Ronnie, my old mate. Cheers, fella. About time you had some proper ale instead of that lager stuff, mate. You're not a kid anymore. Just kidding, sweetheart. Right, here we go. So, with that being said, yes, the police as well. Crime is literally going up everywhere because, like I said, people are believing that they can get away with anything, and lots of people are. All right. Like I say, it's just a case probably of just concealing your identity. Previous live streams when I've exposed the truth about what is going on with the magistrates and indeed the Crown Courts here in the UK. I think it was over 350 odd thousand cases that the magistrate courts are actually behind. They've not even looked at them yet. 350,000 court cases queued. And guess what? That was up to date in November. We're almost in March. How many more cases have been added onto that 350,000 until today? Probably near on 500,000 cases. So it's obvious that there's a big struggle going on with the police, with the courts, with crime going up. And I'll tell you one thing, look at the national figures of the crime figures, the statistics. It's going like this. No, there's no crime. Well, you guys are not stupid, right? You watching this right now, especially if you live in an urban environment, especially a densely populated environment, you will know with your own eyes how bad things are getting, okay? So I'm just going to switch this. This is more for you new guys. If something happens to this YouTube channel because of the topics that I'm covering, yes, I'm fully aware of what is going on and the censorship and things you can and can't say, all of that sort of stuff. So just to be on a safe side, I've set up a mailing list with my website, which is almost finished now, by the way. This is awesome. I'm sending way over 320. Sorry, I'm sending over 3,200 emails every single week, pretty much, to all of these people. So if you're not on the mailing list, please sign up to it. It's really easy. All you do is you just put your email address. That's it. And if you're worried about privacy and stuff, just create an email address and use it solely for that, and just check on it periodically to see if the newsletter which I sent out is dropped into your inbox. And also, please don't forget to check your spam and junk folder. That really is important, just in case you've missed it. And there's lots more information on those newsletters, which is not on YouTube, okay? It's all sorts of hints and tips and loads of other things packed onto that newsletter. So please make sure that you sign up for that, and you won't be disappointed. Because like I say, if I do get deplatformed and I have to set up on BitChute or Odyssey or all the others, then at least you guys can get heads up about the changeover from the end of YouTube to Hello, B-side social media platforms. Okay, so right, let me see, where did we get down to? So yes, like I said, crime is definitely up. So with that, we're looking at the situation. Like I say, this is 2019, and there's a lot left since then. And you can see the decline in the number of police officers in England and indeed Wales, where I live now. Okay, like I said, that is out of date. I really struggled to find up-to-date, factual and accurate information regarding the true numbers of police. In actual fact, that's just given me an idea while I was looking at that. I really don't know how many different police, can we use the word districts, there are in the United Kingdom. Is it by county, a county level? So I used to live in Hampshire, so there is Hampshire Police, I don't know if it's East Sussex, West Sussex, or just Sussex. I've literally got no idea, but it'd be interesting to find out how many different police districts or boroughs there are in the UK. And what would be an interesting experiment if maybe just a few people sent the same email, like a tailored copied email, to every single one of all of the police departments. There you go, police departments here in the UK, with a freedom of information request of how many current serving officers there are in that particular area. Then what happens is, once that's been achieved, it's literally get a calculator and add up everything, and that will give everyone a rough idea of actually how many current serving police officers there are in the UK. And look at the population, which is what, 80 odd million people, or whatever it is. Then I remember breaking this down, and it was, I think it was just in Wales alone, I think there was like was it 1,000 people to one police officer in certain parts of Wales. In South Wales, where it's some parts are really rough and really dangerous. So yeah, it really does give you an insight into how serious this year could be, with everything else is going, which is coming along at the same time. Like I keep saying, perfect storm, right? That is essential to fully understand. Okay, perfect storm time. Oh, I've got a bloody itchy nose tonight. But not only the police who are leaving in their droves, and recruitment is a serious issue. Guess what else? Yes, the armed forces as well. And it's not just the army, Navy, Air Force, Special Forces. They are seeing a decline in recruitment, and they are seeing more people taking early retirement within the military here in the UK. It is in decline. All right. So, like I say, that is most up to date in 2020. It's not the most latest thing that I could find, but like I say, it's just a visual representation of what I'm trying to mention and talk about, okay, as we go through this sort of presentation on a Friday night. So yeah, so crime's going up mainly because there's less police. The military figures are going down. We've got a mass migration of foreign fighting age men between 20 and some said 40. I would say on average it's more like 20 to 30-year-old fighting fit men, no obese, no disabilities, not many women, not many children. There probably is, but I would hazard a guess and probably say, I would say 5% of all of the migrants here in the UK, which have come over recently from Syria, from Afghanistan, from parts of Eastern Europe, etc. You know, 5% of all of those folk are women and kids. 95%, I guess, are men of fighting age. So you could go really conspiracy theory style with all of this, with United Nations, the Trojan horse, putting all of these people here, stick them in strategic locations all over the United Kingdom. And it's only a matter of time before the media and the government pull their magic strings and get our boys and girls in the armed forces out into that mincer in Ukraine. Okay, so when you consider a high percentage of the remaining very small amount of military we have in the UK over there, and all of a sudden we got all these fighting age men over here, is it conspiracy? Could it happen? Let me know your thoughts in the chat and the comments. It'd be good to read your views, because I believe there's a lot of people thinking along these lines now, because it's only when you can start to see all of these other things happening that this absolutely is a genuine possibility of it actually happening. It is scary stuff. And what else have we got? So yeah, we're moving away from that now, and not only is that happening, the energy prices are going up as well. Okay, April, it's going to be going up again. All right, so it's absolutely perfectly timed that they're doing this. Okay, so what happens in April? Okay, it's pretty much springtime. Okay, so the weather is not as cold. People are going to be using slightly less energy anyway, because they might require less heating than they would do, like we had all that snow around Christmas time, etc. And when it's really cold, people aren't going to be using much energy, so the prices will go up. people are using less energy, so the prices seem to appear to be the same as what they are now. And they think, oh, look, it didn't really go up. No, it's a similar thing to the shrinkflation which is going on with the food products you get. Okay, you're paying for something, but you're getting less. So in this regard, you're going to be paying the same amount for your energy, but you're going to be using less. So they're going to have all summer to sort of put all of this BS distractions out there, which is going to be loads of these riots and protests everywhere. There's going to be all sorts of BS coming out of Ukraine. Incidentally, guess what? I have not paid 1 single second's attention to what is going on in Ukraine. That is the biggest sideshow of them all, because whatever happens out there, what can we do about it? But not only that, there is so much propaganda, especially online. It's impossible to know the truth of what's going on out there. And I'm going to try and do a video over the next 10 days or so about deep fake. Now, if any of you guys don't understand what deep fake is, let me enlighten you. They can literally make anything appear to whatever they want to, and you, despite how hard you try, you won't be able to say which is true and which is done by a computer. It's that crazy now. Deep fake. There's massive amounts of black budget money going into deep fakes right now. Stuff that I'm uncovering is insane. That's going to be a video coming over within the next 10 days. Okay, so stay tuned for that one. It's going to be a mind blower, that one. It really is going to shock a lot of people. It shocked me when I started looking into deep fake stuff. I mean, that guy, the prime minister or president, whatever it is of Ukraine, man, he's been deep faked loads already. So don't pay any attention. Well, in my opinion, don't pay any attention to that BS which is going on in Ukraine. Nothing you can do about it. What can you do? You can't believe any of it because it's all propaganda. Propaganda was quite big in World War II. But look at all of the devices and technology that's available right now. Okay, propaganda is easy. You can easily make someone believe that black is white and white is black. Very, very easily. So we move on to, let me have a look. Also, another perfect storm. Who remembers this clown back in 2020? Yes, dear old Boris. He literally come along. He'd done as he was told, and he was gone like a thief in the night. So, lockdowns. Lots of people are concerned, and there is a bit of chat bubbling behind the scenes about a possible lockdown in the UK. Like I said, it's very hard to get factual intel out there, okay? You hear rumours about the government or government bodies have spent X amount on certain vials of stuff, should we say? 20 million is what I heard somewhere. Why would they do that if they're not going to be planning any sort of lockdown? We've had all of that sorts of BS with the bird flu, the avian flu, etc., migrating into humans and God knows what else. Again, it's more psyops, more distractions of the important things. So I would say the most important things I would prepare for would be making sure you've got enough food, making sure you've got a shelter, i.e. a home or something. Make sure you can do your best to keep your vehicle on the road. What else would be making sure that you can heat your home as well. So when the energy prices get too crazy, find other ways to heat your home. All right, that's really, really important. So let me see. There we go. I've mentioned it before. Off-grid heating. You need to look into it. Okay, I've done loads of videos on my channel about off-grid heating. This happens to be one of my paraffin heaters. All right, it's absolutely a brilliant backup. Okay, because if you can't heat your home for whatever reason, you pull that out, and paraffin is still, it's expensive, but it's nowhere near as expensive than other fuels, and paraffin lasts indefinitely. You can use paraffin that is 80 years old and it'll be fine. It's amazing stuff. Okay, so yeah, with the energy cost and lockdowns and things like that, lockdowns are really going to be upsetting people this year, because let me tell you this, well, you don't need me to tell you, the people of this country and the US have had it up to here since what's happened in 2020. Okay, there's attacks from multiple points. Like I say, this year is looking like one of them perfect storms where, you know, the lockdown, in my opinion, when you consider Event 201 and when you look at the every country had its own sort of policies, its own rules. Every country done things slightly different than other countries regarding time frames, people involved, budgets, etc. And to me, it was one big training exercise. 2020, it was one big training exercise. How gullible were the people to social distance and wear these masks and walk where the arrows tell them to walk, and to, you know, persuade these people to get these tracking nightmare privacy killing apps on their phone, track and trace and all of this. It's an experiment, and they got all of the results they wanted. Now that they've got all of their results, okay, with all of the things that they're trying with digital ID, central bank digital currency, etc., they could literally press the fire button and screw everyone real quick. So we do need to pay attention to what's going on, okay? But like I say, there's so many distractions. It's very hard to sort of focus because it's easy to be pulled from one thing to another. But, you know, as soon as that that invasion in Ukraine started, I think I was following it for about 2 days, and straight away I thought, that's just a propaganda of BS. And I've not even looked into any of it. Lots of people send me emails, oh, do you know what's been going on in Ukraine? I said, mate, I couldn't give a monkey's. Okay. And anyone doing fear porn videos about Ukraine and nuclear war and Putin, mate, it's a distraction. Okay. There's nothing you can do about it. You don't know who to trust. Don't waste your time with that stuff. Think about what's immediately important that's going to directly involve your family. Okay. That's what I would preach if I was to. Okay. Because when it comes down to it, it's all about you and your family. What's going on in Ukraine? What can you do? Don't waste your time and give your energy into trying to find out the truth what's going on there, because you'll never find out the truth about Ukraine. No one probably ever will. It's just a load of BS. So what else have we got? Yes, this is a big thing as well. Let me just find this for you. God, there's so many of these little things. Supply chain. Now, hands up, who has had any sort of issues since 2020 with the supply chain? It's really damaged a lot of businesses, especially small to medium-sized businesses. They've really gone under because of they can't get certain parts. The prices have gone up. There's been delays. As we probably know, most manufacturing is carried out in China. Because of the lockdown, which we just talked about, which leads on to the supply chain, has absolutely had massive effects for all sorts of businesses and companies. Okay, so that is having knock-on effects because directly linked to some of the cases regarding the supply chain issues, people are becoming unemployed. Unemployed people have less money, they're more depressed. And let me tell you this, when people don't have much, they've not got much to lose. And when people are in a state of mind like that, and so many buttons are being pushed, they flip. They will go to a protest, and they've never been to one before. But something is telling them, what have I got to lose? I've had enough. I've got to shout my voice. I've got to get some of this anger out, because then people are angry because they have lost a lot. Okay. If you're fortunate to still have loads of nice things and everything's fine, great. But that can easily be pulled out from under your feet. And it's happened to lots of you watching. It's happened to me in the past. And when it does, it's all about the journey on how you deal with it. But it's very easy to fall into that trap and lose it. You could go to a protest and you can do things which you wouldn't normally do. And if lots of people are behaving like that, in psychology, we call it hive mentality. When you've got that going on, with all of the other pressures, again, it comes back to the perfect storm. Okay. So let me look at another thing as well, which not many people talk about. EMP, electromagnetic pulse. Okay, from the sun, very, very serious. And lots of people are probably aware that there is a hell of a lot going on with the sun right now. There is loads of flares and CMEs pretty much on a regular basis now. And some of you may or may not know, the sun goes through cycles every 11 years, and we're currently in a grand solar minimum where things are changing. It's not just affecting planet Earth, it's affecting other planets in the solar system. Some of the temperatures and climates have changed massively on other planets in the solar system. So when it comes back to the mainstream media and the government feeding you this BS created from the United Nations that it's us that is ruining the climate and it's us which is making the weather go bad and all the rest of it. It's not, it's the sun. Lots of us know this now, but unfortunately, lots of sheep people still choose to believe whatever the Daily Mail says or whatever the Sunday Mirror says or whatever it is. Okay, you won't hear any mainstream news source talking in depth about the grand solar minimum and the BS which has been created to make people think that it's us which is making the weather do what it's doing. Okay, electromagnetic pulse, when that sort of stuff goes off, I mean, look at those balloons that's happening in America and China and stuff. Now some people speculate that they're doing like test projects to see if they can launch EMPs from balloons, and very possibly they could. And yes, it wouldn't surprise me if they did do some tests, which they've done. Okay, so no, it's not UFOs, it's not flying saucers. Don't be duped into all that. It's just balloons, which what we've been told. I've not spent much time and energy on it. I did do a little a heads up for people on Instagram, just to let them know that they're aware, because the information back then was coming out way before it's coming out in mainstream. And yeah, it's interesting that us preppers are on the ball. You find this intel, you share it, and some considerable time later, the mainstream sometimes follows up on it. And sometimes they put a blanket ban on the current topic. So electromagnetic pulse, yes, that can absolutely happen from the sun or from man-made. And yes, it's very easy to do. And should events like that happen, where you've literally got no electricity, yes, that is going to make people go nuts. It wouldn't take long for society collapse. I would say probably 1 week, 7 days without electricity here in the UK, the whole country would tear itself apart. Easy. It's that easy. Okay, so we are living in a fragile society, as it were. Someone also said that the sun is doing so much bad things. It's also affecting the magnetosphere, which is that sheath which protects our planet. That is weakening, and magnetic north is moving more than it has done for centuries. Magnetic north is going crazy right now. The magnetic field is weakening. The sun is whacking out lots of energy. So when you consider ELO, which is low Earth orbits, LEO, which is what Elon Musk has put up there with Skynet, is it? The internet stuff. Now, all of those satellites are in low Earth orbit, and that is extremely vulnerable looking at the data which is happening to our magnetic shield. Okay, so it's very possible, very easily, that all of a sudden lots of those satellites will just be put out of action. And all of a sudden, people who are relying on Skynet for their internet services, all of a sudden they won't have any internet. It might be another thing which they're doing about these big weather balloons, because they probably understand there's lots happening with the sun, with the magnetosphere. It's not being reported much, if not at all, on the mainstream. And it is very vulnerable that low Earth orbit satellites are going to be at huge risk over the coming years, maybe. So they're probably trialing out these big balloons so they can do internet or something from them, solar panels for their energy, and their sort of generators with battery packs and sources, etc. So EMP, yeah, that is a serious threat. And I think there's companies in America who are really good. EMP Shield, I think it is. They do excellent work grounding substations to prevent catastrophic, irreparable damage to circuitry regarding substations. Serious stuff, because we all rely on gadgets and tech now, right? So let me have a look. Yes, right. I haven't managed to show any of this yet. I completely forgot. So quick as a flash, we're going to do share screen now. So I want you to look at this here. The definition of fascism. Okay. sometimes initial capital letter, of course. A government system led by a dictator having complete power, forcibly suppressing opposition and criticism, regimenting all industry, commerce, etc., and emphasizing an aggressive nationalism and often racism. Okay, so when you understand that, right, it's bonkers what these idiots are doing. Let me just try and find it. Here we go. Our lovely friends, you can see on here, United Kingdom Antifa. Okay, so look at this, anti-fascist action. So fascism, like we were just saying, is a tyrannical government. So they're saying they're against the government. So when they're using these slogans to say, welcome to the migrants, that's nothing to do with a fascist government. It really isn't. It's just bonkers. The stuff that these idiots are falling for. Look at that, anti-fascist handbook. So basically, this is like, on the face of it, which the mainstream are believing that Antifa is anti-government, which is clearly not. These are funded, just like these guys here, Black Lives Matter. Okay. It's absolutely insane. Let's go to them as well. Why not? Because it's all relevant. Okay. It's all completely relevant. UK Black Lives Matter. They're pretty much funded by the same source, George Soros, and lots of other interconnected companies are funding and investing in these. I'm guessing these are companies now. They're probably private limited companies. All Black Lives Matter. We will not forget. Look at that. Dismantle systemic racism. Okay. It's absolutely crazy. It really is the Black Lives Matter movement. It is absolutely not what you think it is. So I want you to watch this very short video now. And this absolutely sums up what I've been saying right from day one when I started my YouTube channel back in 2012. And I've done videos about this, about trolls and comments and idiots and jealousy and blah, blah, blah. But when it boils down to it, listen to it.
Black History Month you find
ridiculous.
Why?
You're going to relegate my history to a month?
Oh, come on.
What do you do with yours? Which month is White History Month? No, well, come on, tell me.
Well, I'm Jewish.
Okay, which month is Jewish History Month?
There isn't one.
Oh, why not?
Yeah.
Do you want one?
No.
I don't either. I don't want a Black History Month. Black history is American history.
How are we going to get rid of racism until...
Stop talking about it. I'm going to stop calling you a white man.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man. I know you as Mike Wallace. You know me as Morgan Freeman. You're going to say, well, I know this white guy named Mike Wallace. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
That is it in a nutshell. Okay. All the time, people are allowing themselves to be compartmentalized. The bigger this issue is going to be. Okay. At the end of the day, like I say, when you cut yourself, everyone's blood is red. Doesn't matter what skin color it is. Doesn't matter where you were born. At the end of the day, we are all human beings trying to make it on this weird existence, simulation, whatever you want to call it. Okay. So all of the times that you allow yourself to be put into this, I'm Black Lives Matter, I'm Antifa, I'm left, I'm right. What is it doing? All it's doing is it's putting people against each other. And I wish I could have found it in time for this video, but there was a really interesting short video that I saw from Mark Twain. Some of you guys have heard Mark Twain before. And he was saying a story about, I think it was ants in a jar. And they lived perfectly fine. Everything was no problem at all. There was red ants and black ants in there, right? And then when someone come along and shook that jar up violently, they attacked each other. So what he sort of said was, it doesn't matter what color you are, look who's shaking the jar and look at what is going on. It is the mainstream media which is so powerful. I don't think many people truly realize how powerful mainstream media is at influencing decisions, molding your opinions, your views, coercing you into this movement or that group or whatever it is. The best advice I can give anyone is to turn your back on mainstream media. Turn it all off. Turn the telly off, turn the radio off. Don't buy newspapers, okay? And if everyone done that and no one brought newspapers and everyone turned their TVs off, we've won. Simple as that. They wouldn't have no more power because they would realize that they've been using the power of media since the year dot. Okay. And let me tell you this, when the invention of the TV set come around, they must have been having wet dreams, those guys. I thought, whoa, when you look at the frequency of the hertz, which TV and indeed cinema is projected, what it does to the human mind, it puts you in a trance. Like I said on the live stream with Pete the other night, you look at people, look at their faces when you're in the cinema. They're all zombies. And they would sit there and eat a whole big bucket full of popcorn. Would you usually do that? No, because you're being brainwashed by whatever's on that screen, sticking God knows what into your face because some poster told you to buy popcorn. You know, this is the level of manipulation which us human beings have been put to. It's been so evil and so precise for such a long period of time. All the time there's division, there's always going to be problems. There always will be. Okay, so like I said, I really can foresee all of these issues happening this year because I don't think people are going to wake up at this rate. They're too busy with their ego saying my organization's better than yours and I'm right and you're wrong. And you know, the powers that be love it. They're sitting up there looking down at all of us, sort of going, they're just children. And it's true. People who are jealous, people who want to copy other people because they haven't got their own minds, it's exactly the same as what you see in school playgrounds. Look how kids behave in school. Okay, when you're 18, legally, you're an adult. You should be able to think for yourself. So to allow all of this mainstream influence to manipulate your persona, as it were, it's a big mistake. I mean, some of us wake up, some of us don't. People sort of wake up when they're ready to, and it's very hard to try and wake someone up. A lot of you guys know exactly what I'm talking about, and it's like banging your head against a brick wall with some people. Cognitive dissonance, if they really believe so strongly in whatever they choose to believe, nothing will change it. Man, I've been privy to some information over the years, and it's completely changed my perspective on what I used to think. So having that open mind to think about things in a different way and to change your opinions is healthy. If you just have an opinion from the age of 18 and you carry it through to the day you die without welcoming any other perspectives or interjections, sorry, I shouldn't say that on here, should I? But yeah, it's a big difference. It really, really is. So I just wanted to say that anyway, get it off my chest because it's been driving me nuts what I've been seeing. So when you do see society segregated, when you do see people manipulated, especially with mainstream and propaganda, you get things like this. Okay, now all these pictures were taken in England over the last couple of years. These things do happen, and I know lots of you guys live in cities. Okay, it's real, it does happen. And I think the problem is people have very short memories to what happened in 2020 and indeed in 2021. Big things happened. Lots of things changed, especially in London and heavily populated urban environments like Birmingham, for example, which I believe is the second largest city in the UK by population. When you add on to that, the cash points are closing down as well. I mean, this is a photo which I took personally in a local town. That entire bank and cash point is now gone. And there's no horizontal thoughts and images about that ever reopening again. Okay, so everything is being made very, very difficult, and it is difficult. I get it. You know, everyone has got their own unique set of issues without all of this BS since 2020. Okay, so it's even harder, and I'll get it, and it is a big problem. So it does look like that this year is going to be riots, especially in summertime, in urban environments. And I hope to God I'm wrong. I really, really do, because I don't want to see all this. You know, my son is 5 years old now, and he's growing up in this world. And you know, we're trying to give him the best childhood possible, and I think we're doing a good job because he's not going to school, he's not being bullied or brainwashed by the horrendous curriculum that's going on in England and in Wales as well. It's just insane. I mean, you could farm your kids off to school, and when they come home, you've literally got to deprogram them, telling them to eat bugs, telling them that it's okay to for boys to go into girls' toilets and all that sort of stuff. It's not good. It's wrong. We know it's wrong, and I'm having so many emails from people, and indeed comments as well, that people are taking the kids out of school and they're homeschooling them. And it's only been made possible since one of the partners have lost their job for whatever reason. They're receiving benefits to get by, and they can work it out that they can afford to actually homeschool while one parent works and the other one stays at home. And kids are turning out to be more grounded, more rounded than kids who just come out of the school system of all of that sophisticated brainwashing, shall we call it. Things haven't changed for such a long time, and that's one of the fundamental reasons why is kids go to school. So the school is run by the state stroke government. So if you don't trust the state or the government, why the hell are you sending your kids to organizations which are run by those? Doesn't make sense. And yeah, I'll get it, it's a financial thing, but there's always a way. Okay, there is always a way. If you really want to do something, you find a way and you focus on that. Forget about all the BS. Just focus on how you can manage to have your kids at home whilst you work from home, or one of them works and one of them doesn't, or whatever it is. Find a way, because the longer that people send their kids to school, the longer you're going to have generations of kids, snowflakes, who just can't think for themselves. And they're so confused now, these youngsters, these millennials. They're joining all these Antifa groups, which we're going to see problems this year. They've got no clue about life. I mean, look at that Sam Smith nonsense, what we saw. I mean, really, these kids look up to these people. And as parents, it's down to us to make sure that we do a good job. And honestly, if you turn your back on your kids and they're going to grow up as snowflakes, being brainwashed and controlled, well, they're going to be wiping our asses in care homes when we're old and grey, and who wants that? Sorry, guys, it's gone on a bit long. I'm really sorry that I never got around to reading your comments. Let me just have a quick look. Right, wow, that's amazing. So I would like to thank everyone who's come on this live stream, especially everyone who's made the effort to comment in the chat, and indeed you guys watching now. Excuse me, if I can find it. You guys now watching on the replay. Okay, I really do appreciate you spending your time to watch this. Yes, I know it's been nearly an hour and 40 minutes now. Insane. So we've gone 10 minutes over. But yeah, I sort of went into myself a little bit. Maybe I shouldn't have, but you know, all the time that there is some relative freedom of speech on free open platforms like this, I think we should take every advantage to use it, because the censorship that's coming down the road, you won't be able to say what I'm saying next year. Guarantee it. So say what's got to be said now. Do what you can to make a positive change. And yeah, just go careful out there, because like I said, the stuff that's going to be happening with all of these riots in the summertime is going to be serious. A lot of people are going to get hurt. Also, you know, the doctors and nurses there at the Tether, so they're going to have to deal with casualties from the results of all of this mayhem that's going to be happening. The police are at the Tether, you know, the military, they're resigning, and the snowflakes that are coming in now with the woke stuff, it's terrible. It really is a nightmare. So, like I said, thanks everyone who's donated as well. That really helps big time. Also, if any of you guys want to send me an email based on anything you've heard tonight, please, feel free to do so. It really helps, because the more information that I get from you guys from literally all around the world, it gives me a better balanced view of what's going on, so I can share with what I'm seeing combined with all of that to give out to you guys. All right. I mean, I'm here to help as many people as possible, and without you guys, it's not possible. Simple as that. And lastly, but not least, the moderators. There we go. There's one of the top ones there, Faye. She's absolutely awesome. Everyone who's moderated, seriously, can't thank you guys enough. That's all of you. You're doing a brilliant job. So any of you guys that you see that got that little blue spanner on the side, they are walking legends. They really are. So I hope you have a nice weekend. Personally, I'm feeling a little bit burnt out, so I'm going to try and have a relax over this weekend, and I'm going to hit the ground running next Monday with loads of videos to come out next week. So thanks very much for watching, guys. Now stay cool. Be careful, because there's bad stuff coming, but smile for it. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay funky.